In this video, we're gonna go all the way down from 16 gigs of RAM to just 800 megabytes of RAM and see how macOS Tahoe reacts to it. Starting off easy, 16 gigs. By the way, we're on VMware with OpenCore bootloader. As expected, everything works just fine. We're using 3 gigs out of 16.
Nothing is open.
So I start opening up some Safari tabs to see if I can get something going on. After opening up 200 tabs, we just used like 6 gigs out of 16, which is pretty much fine, and we're not using any swap. While everything was working fine, I wanted to install Ollama. With Ollama, we don't have to open up a bunch of apps. We can just load a model and fill up that memory. It's gonna become handy as we go lower and lower. With that being said, we're dropping down to just 8 gigs. Again, everything works fine. Apple has shipped MacBooks with 8 gigs of RAM and they worked fine. By the way, I hate the fact that they killed the Launchpad. Whatever. I'll be using Finder applications from now on. We're using about the same amount of RAM. I started opening up some Safari tabs. This time I wanted to challenge it a little bit more and opened up YouTube tabs instead. I kept duplicating the YouTube's main page. I kept duplicating. YouTube uses a lot of RAM. So we started using swap as we hit 6 gigs of RAM. After some time we hit yellow memory pressure and then red memory pressure. On top of that, I wanted to run Qwen 4 billion parameter. It actually did load the model, but it took a lot of time to load.
Five gigs of swap. Oh, we've made it. Even keyboard is so laggy. Whoa.
Do you see the pattern? As long as we have enough disk space, it will always use swap space. But don't worry, we're gonna turn that off in a second. How about 4 gigs?
It's the recommended amount? Let's see.
Instead of 3 gigs, we're now using 2 gigs. And we're also using a little bit of swap with nothing open. So I wanted to load up the same model and see what would happen. macOS just kept using the swap space as it needed more RAM. Now comes the moment of truth. Swap is going off. Normally you will boot into recovery, disable system integration, and finally you can change the boot args. But with OpenCore we can change the config file, and that's pretty much it. You can just restart and swap is gone. So with that change, let's try to load the same model. By the way, you can check if you have swap disabled by using this command. You see, we're using no swap whatsoever. And it actually loads. And I was getting like 0.001 tokens per second. So on top of that, I tried opening up Safari.
Let's open up Safari. Yeah, not responding.
Okay, it's getting serious now. Only 2 gigs. Booted up just fine. And right off the bat, we are on yellow memory pressure. We're using 1.5 gigs of RAM. And let's try loading up a 4 billion model. But before that, let me give you some context. The model I'm about to load is around 2.5 gigs in size. And that means it will roughly use more than 3 gigs just to load the model. And you know what? We only have 500 megs free and no swap enabled to save macOS. macOS tried loading up the model, but...
Oh, the cursor is incredibly laggy. What? Cursor is incredibly laggy. 1.97? Oh, did you crash? No. I cannot move the cursor now. No way! Okay, so let me just restart and let's see what happens.
Everything just froze and I had to restart. After restarting, everything seemed fine.
Okay, it just works fine. Yeah.
It's getting real serious now. Only 1 gig of RAM.
Holy sh**. We're in. No way.
It actually did boot. It took almost 3 minutes to load the desktop.
What?
and UI was unresponsive. But I had an idea. I went ahead and just disabled login items, enabled reduce motion, disabled autoplay animated images, removed widgets, emptied out trash, deleted everything that is unnecessary to save up some RAM so that it could possibly work. Booting up with the same amount of RAM, UI was actually way more responsive. So I tried opening up Activity Monitor, but it just kept jumping and jumping and it never opened. Also, the wallpaper never did load. It felt like it needed just a bit more juice to work. How about 1.2 gigs of RAM?
Come on.
And right off the bat, UI felt much more responsive.
Whoa. Okay.
The wallpaper did load.
Whoa! NA?
Activity Monitor opened up.
No way!
And straight out of bat, memory pressure is red. Everything is up. And on top of that, I tried opening up Safari. It never opened. I was like, why bother with the desktop? Let's just boot to the lock screen and see what's the lowest we can go. How about 800 megs? $852. I logged in, but desktop just wouldn't load. 836. $828. Have you ever seen such thing? $812. $816. $820. $824. And that seals the deal. Now you know the lowest amount of RAM you need to run macOS
Tahoe.
at least on a virtual machine. Subscribe.